despite everyone, including the Chihuahua, saying, "No, let me go." Hey. Shout out to my 6 viewers on my other video that I filmed 9 months ago. I didn't film another video for 9 months because I'm committed to artistry. I'm committed to putting out good quality work. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be recapping all of the movies / TV shows I watched in August and September. What a gorgeous movie, just right off the bat. FBI agent Lee Harker is in search of the truth behind a string of supernatural suburban killings that she is somehow connected to, a larger theme of the nuclear family and the part it plays in its own destruction because of a blind faith in religion, and Nicolas Cage's ass shows up looking like a cross between a Ken doll and the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. That was my first sign that this film was going to be a little unserious. Is it scary? Well, for someone like me who doesn't consume a lot of horror and doesn't really enjoy that adrenaline rush that one gets from being scared, but it's far from like the scariest movie I've ever seen, and I don't think it's like traditionally scary. Like, the film uses your preconceived notions of horror and goes, okay, bet. You think based on traditional American blockbuster horror that when Nicolas Cage's ass shows up with a chewed lace front that he's gonna have some sort of murderous intent or play the role of the traditional villain, but his ass starts stinging. Or you think based on the way a shot is set up, hold on, I can even mimic it. Like, a shot, for instance, would be set up like this, and in your head you're going, what next?
So,
no, I'm saying
what now?
I mean,
the point is that the film doesn't try to give the viewer a quick scare, but instead a dragged out sense of dread, anxiety, confusion, and oddly humor. And it can be now. This movie was funny as hell. I think there was this cross between me feeling very uneasy and then also me trying to hold in my laughs. I think it was very intentional to kind of blend this discomfort with humor. I think there's something interesting there that horror can, you can be scared and also humored at the same time, or kind of balance in between them. Dirty, poor, and with DEI ChatGPT by her side.
In the sense that
Rain, the protagonist of this film, reunites with her old group chat. So this gaggle of film major looking 20-something-year-olds link up and are like, hey, let's scavenge this abandoned space station because they're trying to make it out of the trenches. But given the name of the movie, shit gets weird. Well, I guess shit was already weird. How could you not feel bad for the Starbucks closing crew? They're actively trying to leave their capitalist hellscape just to end up in another hellscape that is the product of their current hellscape. Why did I say hellscape so much? I mean, I guess shit could have been avoided if they didn't bring the incest idiot with them, but we wouldn't have a movie then. I personally really love this movie. I was like gripping the sides of my hoodie, like trying like to not.
People were scared. Me too. I was really
Nightmare on Elm Street was the first time I was able to really appreciate and take notice of practical effects, because they really do hold up the test of time, and this movie is filled with practical effects. Also, stylistically, this movie, I think it's really cool. I think the set design, I think the production, very nice. I actually am pretty surprised how divided this movie was. I think it's very clearly an homage to the franchise, but also a rebirth at the same time. People were saying it was giving like Disney, giving like teen vibes. Nothing about that gave me bubblegum pop. That gave me charcoal. Father is dead, showed up to his funeral with a McDonald's napkin and a fresh balayage, then proceeds to drive away in the pursuit of her dreams of opening up a flower shop in Boston. She ends up opening up her flower shop, obviously, and she meets a bored rich woman who's like, girl, I can work. And guess what, girl? You remember that odd but extremely hot doctor that you met on the roof, who you almost woohooed with, but didn't, but kind of wanted to, but said you didn't want to? Yeah, that's my brother. Ooh, now you have a BFF and a boyfriend. BOGO. Well, no. Because this is a film about the cycles of abuse and trauma, specifically domestic abuse.
Trauma. PTSD. Trauma. Generational trauma. Trauma.
I would be lying if I said that I didn't go into this film a little judgmental. Okay? I'm only human. However, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know. I think overall I did enjoy this movie. I think the depiction of abuse was really well done. You get gaslit. We see these depictions of violence, more so the physical ramification on Lily's body because of the way the film is shot. There's this sort of plausible deniability to it, and you can kind of see how this happened, see how it was kind of a mistake. You know, it gives some plausibility to Ryle's innocence, which obviously is false. Once you get this reveal that no, this was all malicious to begin with, it is like, because you really want this guy to work with her, you really want this relationship to work, and at the same time, I think it speaks to this larger thing of you get this very real human kind of look at what abuse looks like, and it kind of removes, if I was in this situation I would do this, if I was in that situation I would do that, because in reality you aren't given the full picture, you aren't giving all of the details of everything that happened. I'm not even sure if I'm describing this correctly. I might have to go back in post editing and kind of fix what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say is that this film ultimately felt very human, and I think even when you're looking at the conclusion, I think there was a level of complexity to it that I wasn't anticipating. The ending isn't this fairy tale sort of resolution to what you want for abusers and what you want for the situation, but it was realistic. I think it was bittersweet, and I would be interested to see more of Colleen Hoover adaptations, and I would also be interested in possibly reading one of her books. Again, I think I should have gone into this more with an open mind. Anyways, I feel like I've talked about this too much. If I've forgotten anything, I'll add it in post. If I was British and Indian, this would be a hood classic. This would be my Friday. This would be my Menace to Society. This would be my Boys in the Hood. This would be me just listing off any black. Jess, despite being 18 years old, is banned by her strict Indian parents from pursuing her love of soccer, football, whatever you choose to call it. So she's banned from pursuing that, but given that this is a movie, she's like, and decides to join the club soccer team with her friend, and everyone thinks that despite them both literally being in love with their coach. Anyways, Jess is really struggling to balance her personal desires with her obligations to her family and culture. But yeah, this was a very charming movie. I definitely would recommend if you're a huge fan of early 2000s movies and I guess sport movies. Well, a middle-aged suburban mom of two crashes out. Period. End of sentence. This tongue-in-cheek humor you can really only find in early 2000s movies.
Didn't your mother ever tell you? Now you know.
Times like 10, because this is the type of camp I haven't seen since Stepford Wives. Like I said earlier, Beverly is the stereotypical American housewife, and what starts off as red wine, Valium-induced menacing,
You bitch! Now
turns into full-on YN behavior. One liner after one liner after one liner. Oh, back meme. Taisha is the type to keep her 30-year-old chihuahua alive, despite everyone going, please, put it down. But instead of a chihuahua, it's her husband. Taisha once had a super promising career until the age of 18 or 19. She has a career-ending injury, and instead of using that pent-up aggression and taking it out on her future child and LeVar balling him or her, she takes that out on her husband, who has recently lost all his mojo and is scared to tell his wifeager that he no longer really wants to pursue this. So his world-renowned ass ends up at a country club to play his former yaoi BFF,
who's a mid-ranked unemployed, sleeping in his car, delusional tennis pro.
Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T. Clock it. Clock that T.
He ends up playing him in a super intense tournament. Cheating. Lots of cheating. My solution is just would the throuple work? Alright, so now my favorite part of the video. These are the 3 films that I watched on my birthday. instead of doing literally anything with anyone. I wouldn't mind seeing Glenn Powell in a bunch of American blockbusters. I wouldn't mind. Twitch streamer and traumatized scientist form a buddy cop-esque relationship with un poquito of tension that they will use to save the town from not just the twista, but capitalism. Cuckoo. I was confused. Sound design and style was dope. I was just a little perplexed. Anyways, about the film. My bitch Gretchen has to move to the Swiss Alps. Nope, we're in Germany. Has to move to the German Alps with her dad, stepsister, and stepmom, who's not really giving stepmom who stepped up vibes, but more like, bitch, you're here, I'm here, what's up? Like, anyways, they're all in this town. Weird shit is happening. Gretchen is working as a hotel clerk, and also a bitch in a trench coat is terrorizing her. And birds, I think. Same wavelength as Longlegs in regard to its horror with some swagger. But this definitely needs a rewatch because again, I don't know. Where do I start with this? This was the last movie I watched on my August birthday marathon. The summer before his freshman year of high school, a Taiwanese 13-year-old boy goes through some of the most traumatizing, embarrassing, just genuinely cringy sequence of events that also somehow transcend gender and race because they are quintessential experiences for youth. It was honestly kind of like hard to watch. Going into it, I was kind of worried it would be derivative of its predecessors, specifically mid-90s, but it was unique. And I don't think I've seen one of these that really went into the family dynamics as hard as this one did. And I would honestly say it was more of a focal point than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be more centered on him navigating friendships and everything and relationships. But, you know, he went through that arc where his friends were like, you kind of suck. We're not going to be friends with you. I am looking forward to the next 10 years or so when a film major / barista finally levels up and gets that funding so we can get a movie like this about 2018 / 2019.
We know.
I would be number one in that theater. I would love to be a part of that. That was a glorious time to be alive. What are some quintessential things I think would need to be in that movie, a 2018, this 2019 nostalgia movie? I'm just searching for classic and timeless. Oh, hey there, I think I found it. My cherry cup. Swaggy crack lads ebb and flow between sobriety, getting jobs, being on that stuff, partying, going to the club, hooking up with the underage, stealing, endangering the youth in multiple ways, I guess. But also kind of being charming and endearing in an odd way. I would say the way it treats addiction is kind of unique. It doesn't really treat it as something that's like the end of the person that's addicted's life, but more something, it's just present. It's just a way of being for them. I mean, there are some moments where it's like, that was genuinely really fucked up, really sad. Other times it feels like when someone is addicted and they're struggling to overcome it, there's only dread. That's all there is. But with this, it feels like, yes, there are dreadful moments, and I guess you could say addiction overarching is dreadful, but there is still this youthfulness to it, this life, this passion in the movie. They still go about their lives, they still do things that normal people do, but it's different. And I think that, you know, I think it's because we get it more from the perspective of them. You know, it isn't the sadness constantly versus someone who's seeing someone who's addicted. It's like, oh, if I'm incoherent blabbering, let me know. His good luck babe sociopathic ass had me stressed. I didn't write a summary for this because I forgot, so I'm just going to try to it off the top of my head. A young man who is not very rich or wealthy, he's actually quite poor. He falls into a situation where basically a miscommunication ends up in him tracking down and becoming friends with a rich boy. Basically, it's like, you're my favorite thing for the moment. Okay, you're getting too weird now. You're getting a little too zesty.
I'm sorry. No twinks allowed. No twinks allowed.
So I'm going to cut you off. But then the poor boy is like, guess what? No, you're not. I'm actually going to become you. Plot twist. And then he spends the rest of the movie trying to maintain his lies and everything. In my head, I was thinking, I think this is one of those movies that could really benefit from fresh eyes and a new director. There's been another adaptation. And also, I was like, this is just Saltburn. All the TV shows I watched, Interview with the Vampire, all of the monologues, Claudia Lestat, Louis, love them. 10s across the board. I'm super excited for the season 3 of this show. I love it. From I don't know what's going on, but I would definitely recommend it because I think more people need to watch it so it doesn't get canceled. One Piece. Whew. I'm trying. I love that live action though. All along. This was this was surprisingly a lot funnier than I thought it would be. And some people can say it's like corny or whatever. It's just it's quintessential Marvelness. I don't know. I think there's boisterous fun that people are missing out on when they hate on Marvel. Yeah, I do plan in the future to release one video a week. Thank you for watching. Now time for me to look at the camera. I'm sorry. Uber stock just shot up. Horror with a little bit of swagger. I only have one share in Uber.